The Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In in Katy returns Saturday morning, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. This fun and fabulous event attracts the best rides in town. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all in one place. The Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a 3-hour friends and family event. Loopy's will have breakfast tacos, coffee, and the best cars, all at one location. The Loopy Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Loopy founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. at Loopy's in Katy. The Wheel Time Car Show will be there, too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. This is the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Today coming to you from the confines of Studio A in Houston, Texas. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Jeff Seekin is off in the corner where he should be. We really appreciate you joining us today. We've had a good show so far, and I think that you're really going to enjoy our next guest. His name is Bryant Blakemore, and he is with a group called the Hooptie Racing Series. Bryant, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for having me back on the show.
Well, I have to tell you that I had a chance to look at some of the stuff that Mike sent me about the Hooptie Racing Series, and this is the Texas version. And I understand that the next weekend is going to be the big event with the triathlon. And first, let's get a little background and what is the Hooptie Racing Series for those that don't know.
Sure. So Hooptie, it's they call it Hooptie Cross, and it's rally cross for budget beater cars.
For Hoopties.
It's Hoopties, exactly. That's exactly right. You know, the premise is that you go and you find a $500 clunker, and you go huck it around a dirt track as much as you possibly can, and until it either breaks or you break, and have a blast with it. So this series was formed originally by the guys that started the Gambler 500, which has global notoriety as automotive conservationism, so to speak, where people would take these cheap cars and cars that aren't supposed to really go off-road, and they would run all the public trails and lands, through the forests and whatnot in the Pacific Northwest, picking up trash and cleaning up and bringing attention to taking care of your public lands, but doing it in cheap cars. Well, that wasn't a race, and the founders of that wanted to add to the fun in a competitive manner. So they created Hooptie Cross, which is what this is. And then I brought these guys down to Texas. Last year was our first year to do this. We do it out at Buffalo Springs Lake in Lubbock, and it's a blast. We've had everything from Ford Aerostar vans to we had a Lexus, we had a Cadillac, we had some Honda Civics and Accords. If you can imagine, whatever you're picturing in your head, when I tell you that people take cheap cars places they're not supposed to go, you're probably right.
Yeah, that's kind of scary because you really don't want to go inside our heads and give us that challenge.
It's probably true, though. Here, I can share a couple pictures.
Please do. Yes, we would love to see that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to also read after you get this pulled up, the page that I pulled up to get some more information about it, because I think that the way that is written is absolutely sick. It's good. I really do like it. But while people are waiting, I like the Ford Aerostar van mention with one of the obviously participants in one of the Hooptie Cross events. This kind of smacks of the roadkill thing, where the guys go out into the junkyard, get a car that's been sitting in the junkyard for 20, 30 years, get it to run, and then take it somewhere. This is kind of in that same vein, and it's very attractive to me. So do you have any participants that have any wood grain on the sides of them?
Yes, we've had a few wagons and some things come out to some previous events, and it's been a lot of fun. It is very roadkill-esque. In fact, a lot of the guys, Dirt Every Day, Jay Leno, gentlemen like that, have participated in these events, in like the Gambler 500 events in the Pacific Northwest, and so it's gained, as I mentioned, a lot of notoriety. Hooptie Cross in itself, while it's still rather in its infancy, it is growing, and they are actually putting on an international race, I believe, in Ireland sometime next year.
Do you still have openings available for next weekend's race, or is it filled up?
No, absolutely. People can come down, bring your car. We've so far as pre-registrations have gone, we've got about 30 people pre-registered, and we've got room for about 30 more.
Oh, good. Okay, so there's room for me.
And you can race. It's literally run what you brung. Race anything that has four wheels and at least one door on it to protect the driver, and wear a helmet and come have a blast.
So no other safety rules other than that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to have a fuel cell. You don't have to have a roll cage. This is the absolute cheapest way to get into some form of dirt sports safely, and it's fully insured and all that. It's legitimate racing. So it's also a national point series, and there are events across the entire country. And
I could become a star.
A culmination of points.
I love it.
At the end.
So the Hoopties, I mean, since it's a series, do people buy a Hooptie or bring their Hooptie to different events?
Yeah, they trail it.
I'm wondering.
Well, they don't trailer it up there. They wrecker it up there.
Right. It's no joke. A lot of the competitors in this series are following the series around the country, and there will be cars coming in from Oregon and Washington and Indiana.
Well, I don't know why they would. I don't know why you would go to the junkyard up there in the snowbelt states, find something down here, and just bring it from the junkyard.
Well, but if you've got a Hooptie that you think is reliable,
so
why not?
Let me just go ahead.
The pictures didn't share there, Bryant.
Let Don do what he needs to do.
It is. It's good to read it.
So I want to read this. Just bear with me just for a minute, because I thought that it was very interesting. It's about getting involved in the thing and registering and that sort of said. Double asterisk, all participants must wear masks and take social distancing measures. Masks not required while racing or while volunteering on the course. If you don't like the rules, don't come. That's perfect. I love that. Then it goes on to say the triathlon portion is not required. Do if you want to. It'll be a blank show of a good time, so live a little. The lake crossing is about 150 feet in water, about 3 to 6 feet deep. Human-powered crafts only. Post your mini bike on the other side and hop on for a sick loop over bridges and through part of the OHV park. Then it finishes up by saying, the main Hooptie X course is 4.5 miles in length. Yeah, it's pretty blank rad. Fast, slow, technical, all-day pass, $80, same as last year, and for those who race, these laps average about 7.5 minutes. Find me better value for the seat time. That's the entry. I love it. Did you write this yourself?
I did not. Chuck, the creator of Hooptie Cross, he's the pinman for that.
Well, that's good.
For sure.
Yeah.
So this year we're doing something a little bit different, and we're experimenting with it here, which is the triathlon portion. There's an event in the Carolinas for off-roading and for Jeeps called the 36 Hours of Uwharrie. And I always thought it would be interesting to create an event with hoopties called the 36 Minutes of Where Are We? And I thought that'd be kind of funny. So we're experimenting with this triathlon deal, camel trophy style, if you will, where you have your hoopty and then you have some sort of floatable object that you have to paddle or kick across the lake. Think like Red Bull Flugtag, but for the water. And then on the other side are those Coleman, Briggs & Stratton powered fat tire mini bikes that people will run around a course that we have set up out here.
Actually, do you have to bring your own mini bike?
You do have to bring your own mini bike. It is not.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
You can do just the car section. However, if you participate in the entire triathlon event, you will receive a handicap towards your rally time, which will shave a few seconds or minutes off your rally time.
So
there is benefit to doing everything.
So it's more of a triathlon than a triathlon.
That's exactly right. It is quite a bit.
And you can use that as my trademark there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So is there going to be a Miss Hoopty?
We haven't decided to crown one yet, but I like that idea as well.
Just throw them out there in the mud.
I want to be Miss Hoopty.
Yeah, Don could be a good Miss Hoopty.
In his red pumps.
No, he's got red tennis shoes, so that he doesn't get his heels stuck in the mud.
And a boa.
So
we've gone off track.
I think that I have an object that I would like to try to get across the lake, and I'm thinking some sort of a human bathtub size cooler with a paddle.
Cooler is my first go-to. A cooler would be my first go-to. I've had a buddy say that he was going to attempt a Flex Seal commercial with a shopping cart and try to Flex Seal up a shopping cart and see if it will make it cross. These are the types of things that I hope show up. Anything that's unconventional, maybe the air mattress that you brought to camp with while you're there, just push that in the water and see if it'll go. It should be a good time.
I saw a video not too long ago down the side of a mountain, and people brought children's, for lack of a better term, pedal cars. Of course, there are not many of those anymore, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Barbie Jeep Racing.
Barbie Jeep Racing. That's right.
Power wheels.
Right, and it goes really wrong, really fast, and they all have to wear helmets and shoulder padding.
And there's an ambulance at the bottom of the hill.
Exactly. Right. So we're kind of on the same vein here with Hoopty Cross.
It's all about fun, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is 100% about fun. We try to have as minimal rules as we can that insurance will allow us, so that it is attainable by anybody and everybody. So, and when we say run what you brung, we really mean that. Side by sides, Can-Ams, Razors, things like that, they're welcome. Raptors, pre-runners, your mom's minivan, it's all welcome. Bring it all.
So get your hoopty and get out there to Buffalo Springs and have a blast.
That's right. Buffalo Springs Lake, Lubbock, Texas, November 14th. We'll be here all day.
Now, do you have an entry into this field?
I do. I do have an entry. I've actually, last year I didn't. I was the flag man the whole day. I may be putting together 2 entries for this event. I'm not sure if I'll have the other ready in time. But I purchased a $200 Ford Expedition, which I have named the Exhibition. It has no exhaust. The exhaust was cut off at the manifolds. It has one door, and I cut the rear roof section out of it, and I put some all-terrain tires on it. And so we're going to see what it can do. I actually got that so that my girlfriend could have a vehicle to run. I'm trying to get a few other of my buddies' girlfriends and wives involved as well, and so we can see what happens there. And then I'm going to try to get my legitimate Baja race truck together and bring it out and make a lap just to kind of shake it down a little bit.
So you're going to have more money invested in the tires than you do in the Expedition.
I got the tires on trade. I'm crafty like that. I traded the tires that were on it for the all-terrain. So I'm in at about $275.
So that's the one you need to put a seat in the back of it, and you get Miss Hoopty, and you could take a lap around as the parade vehicle for Miss Hoopty.
Especially with the roof cut off, it looks just like the Pope Mobile.
There you go.
And if all else,
and dress Miss Hoopty up as a Pope.
And if all else fails, get you a blow-up doll and put her in the back there.
that idea has been presented before at some of these events. It's not uncommon.
Don will loan you his blow-up doll.
I don't know about secondhand there. I'm not sure about that.
So, Bryant, I'm thinking maybe perhaps that we should have the Texas Trophy version of Hooptie Cross, where we visit major metropolitan areas throughout the state, and you could become Hooptie of Texas.
Absolutely.
So we'll start up there, up in the Panhandle with you, and then we'll move down 35 down to Austin, and maybe have a little San Antonio stop. Of course, you can't leave out Dallas and Fort Worth, and then Corpus, and then Houston. I mean, we can crown the winner here. Beaumont.
Yeah, don't forget Beaumont. They got the Golden Triangle.
Beaumont is Hooptie.
We got lots of mud over there.
Right. No, I think that's a great idea. And my plan with this, Chuck is going to kind of hand this over to me next year and let me run with it a little more. He's getting so busy traveling around the entire country putting on these races that he wants people to kind of branch out on it a little bit. And so I do have plans to expand this around the state, multiple events and things like that. And because it is a national point series, this year, if you win the championship overall in points, you get to go to legitimate rally driving school and get an education on how to drive in the dirt.
Do you have business cards? Do you have Hooptie business cards? I want to know.
I don't have any Hooptie business cards yet. I've got some for all the other automotive stuff that I'm involved in, but they'll be in the works.
Well, I'm thinking that once this thing really takes off and we get more than 30 cars, when we get up there to the 90-car limit,
right?
That we can do a remote broadcast from one of the Hooptie events in the state.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
So this is on November the 14th. So that would be next Saturday?
Next Saturday. Yes, sir.
In Lubbock.
In Lubbock, Texas. So
in Lubbock, Texas.
And we're hoping that it's not snowing at the time. Because
I am too. The forecast looks good. The water's going to be chilly. I hope you don't fall in your man-powered watercraft or off one of the bridges in your mini bike. It could be a little cold, but aside from that, it should be a good time.
It sounds like fun.
This would be so much fun.
This would be right up my alley. And I'm thinking it's got to have some sort of wood decor on the side of it of some sort.
And I'm sure Richard Tomlin already has a collection of cars he could come do this with.
All right. So and everything is on the table. And so mini bikes, cars, watercraft, it doesn't make any difference.
That's right. Doesn't make any difference. The goal is to come out and have fun.
They all run the same course?
So all of the cars do, yes. The mini bike course is going to be separate, but all the cars, yes, they run the same course. It's time trial, so it's one at a time, as long as you're fast enough to not be caught going around the course. But we try to space them out appropriately to where there won't be any interference like that.
And what's the prize?
It's trophies, crafty trophies, things of that nature, crisp high fives.
I'm thinking more along the lines of old bowling trophies from the 1960s. What do you think?
Right, those would be good. I've got a plan for the overall triathlon crown that I'm going to get made up probably next week if I spend some time in my
Can you
shop.
give us an idea of what it's going to entail?
Oh, it's gonna entail little bits of every part of the triathlon. So there'll be a car part. There'll be a boat part, and there'll be a mini bike part to it. It'll be substantial.
You're going to bring your Lincoln welder with you, and all the parts that fall off out on the track, you're going to weld them together for the trophy.
If I did that, I'd be able to build another car and go take a lap.
Bryant, you're a joy to talk to. We really appreciate it. Best of luck to you in the Hooptie Cross the next weekend up in the Lubbock area up there at Buffalo Springs.
And where do you get more information?
You can go to Facebook and go to HooptieX, HOOPTIEX. Look it up, and it'll show you the rally group. Or you can go to hooptiex.com.
There you go.
Either place there, you'll get plenty of information.
Very
God
good.
bless. Take care, and best of luck next weekend. Give us a call in a couple of weeks and let us know how it goes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
You bet. Bryant Blakemore.
That'd
The
be so much
HooptieX
fun.
Hooptie Cross Racing Series. Oh, my God. That's got my name written all over that.
I'm telling you.
All right. Thanks for joining us on today's In Wheel Time Car Show. Time now for This Week in Automotive History. Conrad always manages to come up with some interesting stuff. What do you got today for us?
Well, in the same theme of what we talked about with Charles Kettering, this week in automotive history, Ransom E. Olds received his first patent for a motor carriage in 1897.
There's that Oldsmobile thing. You know, there are other auto manufacturers.
He always gets back to that Oldsmobile.
No, there aren't. In 1900 on this week, the first significant car show happened in the United States. It was a week-long event that was... You're on the wrong one, Jeffrey. That's Ransom. I'm sorry. That is Ransom. Sorry,
we don't know.
I looked at the glasses. So the first week-long auto show was held at Madison Square Garden.
Looks like Ralphie.
And looks like Ralphie. And that was hosted by the Automobile Club of America. There were 51 exhibitors, and they displayed 31 Oldsmobiles. Jeff, just let it run. Along with various accessories. That's the original Olds Curve Dash. There's Madison Square Garden, the original Madison Square Garden, back in 1900. In 1927, Ford produced its first Model A, which had a 205 cubic inch four-cylinder that put out 40 horsepower. It started out at $460, and they had various models of the coupe, the convertible. That is the the zebra crossing. Oh, well, now those aren't on 7-second runs. Michael must have sped them up. So also on this day, the 40th annual automobile show in Illinois was held, in that developing the automotive comfort of air conditioning. The very first car with air conditioning was in 1940, and it was in a Packard, and that car we had shown there a few seconds ago. In 1951, the zebra crossing, the broad white stripe and black stripes across the crosswalks of roads, was developed, and that's where your little turtles with the flash, the reflector in it, was originally developed with the metal studs in the road. In Berkshire, England, in 1960, country and rockabilly artist Jimmy Horton was killed in a head-on crash, actually here in Texas, on Highway 79 in Llano, Texas. He was returning home from a performance at the Skyline Club in Austin. In 1978, Chrysler hired Lee Iacocca. In 1986, this week, was Alfa Romeo was approved for acquisition by fellow automobile manufacturer Fiat. Ford was actually in the running to buy Alfa Romeo. If you kind of remember back in the 80s, Ford was buying up lots of different people at the time, and Alfa was one of them they had taken a look at. And then in 1989, on this day, Carmen Fasanella, the taxi cab driver, retired after 68 years driving a taxi in Princeton, New Jersey. He started driving the taxi in 1921 and was a taxi driver for 68 years.
Same car?
No, different car,
okay.
but same guy.
Did they have to peel his bony fingers off the steering wheel?
I thought that was a pretty good record for 68 years to drive a cab. Can you imagine how annoyed he would have been when Uber started?
At 68 years of doing anything, I'd just be annoyed, period.
So that's this week in automotive history.
Good Lord. 68 years driving a taxi cab.
In New Jersey, of all places.
Hey, driver.
Hey,
so, I mean,
forget about it.
So he's got to be 84 if he started at 16. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's...
Can you
imagine 1921 to 1989.
Can you
slow ride?
Can you see St. Peter waiting for him at the Golden Gate? So what did you do, sir? Well, I drove me a taxi cab all my life. What? That's it?
Come on in.
Lord, wonder what it
suffered enough.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much for me. I did have one other automotive news story I wanted to get in. You know, this week in automotive news, it was just not there. It's all about earnings reports. Who wants to know about earnings reports? Are they going to make it to the next year? That's really all that matters. I mean, I guess stockholders care about that sort of stuff, but it makes for boring news.
Well, there was a lot of big recalls, though.
Well, this is not a big recall. 375,000 Explorers for a suspension problem. Well, and here's
it just caused a loss of steering control.
Yeah, so Ford says Wednesday it was recalling 375 Explorers to fix a defect that led to 6 reported injuries. The vehicles are 2013 through 2017 model years. Ford said some of the affected vehicles sold or registered in certain areas of North American states and provinces where corrosion is common have experienced a fracture in the outboard section of the rear suspension toe link after completion of a prior safety recall repair.
So we're going to recall the recall.
A fracture of a rear toe link can reduce steering control, increase the risk of a crash. No, it's only going to reduce it. It's going to be spun out into some wall somewhere. The action affects about 350,000 vehicles in the U.S. and 25,000 in Canada. The vehicles built at Ford's Chicago assembly plant from September 2012 through January of 2017. The automaker said it was aware of 13 incidents and 6 injuries related to the defect. Whoops, there goes the rear axle.
General Motors recalled all of the 2020 Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, and Cadillac crossover vehicles for fuel line supply issue. It wasn't a thermal event, but it would just, the truck would stall because of a bit of debris inside the fuel line would stop the fuel
on every one of those.
The Enclave, the Cadillac XT5, the Cadillac XT6, the Chevy Traverse, and the GMC Acadia. If you own a 2020, it was just recalled.
All of them use the same system.
Well, they're all the same
parts,
platform,
yeah.
basically.
How do all of those cars have one common problem like that?
The manufacturer.
Because it's all the same platform.
No, I understand, but I mean, is it in the fuel line? You said the fuel line.
It's in the. It's kind of got two fuel tanks in it, and there's a crossover piece. Your Corvette does the same thing, and the jet pump in the crossover piece would clog up, and they wouldn't get the fuel out of
Clog up with what?
Some piece of manufacturing debris that was left inside the tank.
Manufacturing debris.
Right. So as they were cutting some piece of plastic to build those fuel tanks, they left some of the cuttings in there, and it would get in there and jam up the jet
Way
pump.
to go.
And then General Motors, again, they had a wide-ranging recall for a transmission oil leak that may lead to in loss of engine power. And there's a total of 194,000 SUVs and sedans included in that recall, 2019 and 2020. Lots of recalls.
Well, that's the only news that there is this week, really, other than our buddy Bob Brockman with Reynolds and Reynolds and his old Bob. Houstonian.
Well, Nissan Maxima is going to release a 40th anniversary of the Maxima. I didn't realize that, Maxima had been around for 40 years. I remember it was originally the 4-door sports car.
Yep.
In
fact, I don't even know the last time I saw one.
I see them every now and then. They don't sell a lot of them, but they're going to release a 40th anniversary of that.
Why? If they don't sell a lot of them, why would you release that?
Honda sold 181,000 vehicles in October, an all-time record.
Wow.
Considering in these pandemic times,
really?
that's quite a record. And then Honda announced the end of its official support for the Formula One engine program they've been running now for a couple of years, though they are going to leave the technology and the engine availability there for AlphaTauri Racing and Red Bull Racing.
Got to go. Thank you. We'll be back in just a minute.
The Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In in Katy returns Saturday morning, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. This fun and fabulous event attracts the best rides in town. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all in one place. The Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a 3-hour friends and family event. Loopy's will have breakfast tacos, coffee, and the best cars, all at one location. The Loopy Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Loopy founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. at Loopy's in Katy. The Wheel Time Car Show will be there, too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m.
Well, you know what that sound means. That's it for this episode of the Wheel Time Car Show. Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Our video and marketing man is Jeffrey Zeke, and this week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by Guy Lombardo. For booking agent and podcast man Mike out of this world Mars, his royalty king Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong saying so long for now. We hope that you'll join us on the next live show next Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. We thank you for being part of the In Wheel Time family. Mask up and stay healthy. I'm Don Armstrong. Have a great weekend, and so long for now.